check out the temperature gauge on the Jeep. Hasn't been reading where it normally does, so I've got to investigate a bit more. So I'll just show you what's going on here. So run a video gauge down here. Get that light out of there. So video gauge, and I have checked the thermostat, so I know it's not that. So I'm thinking it's either the gauge or the sender. So the sender's nice and easy to get at. I think we'll attack that first. Okay, down here. Because I've got my guards cut out, it's pretty easy to access stuff in here. So there it is there. I've already disconnected the wire. So I'll get my spanners and we'll take the sender out. I've picked up a new one from town. They have one in stock, which is cool. I'll take the radiator cap off. And I'll go and get some spanners. So this sender runs the gauge as I showed you, and the throttle body injection has its own gauge, its own sender up near the thermostat housing. So I've got the new sender unit in, a little bit of a cover over it, and a protection for the wire there, just keep the heat off it. So that's all done. Alright, that'll do it till we get it started. Alright, gonna pull this bonnet down. I'll park over there in that shade. Getting a bit hot here today. Feels a bit cooler in the shade. I'm just going to let it run for a little while and we'll see what this temperature gauge does. Fuel gauge here, but it's always low. Well, I got my gauge back now reading where it used to, so that's really good. They're up around 90. Fans cutting in just around that area as well. 90, 95 is where it probably needs to be. Looks like this little culprit. Replace that. Let's fix it. So that's a good result. I'll move on to the next job. It didn't take long to find the next job. Computer for my TBI, throttle body injection. Pretty basic, but for years it's been sitting up here on the inside of the firewall, and I did touch it the other day up here and it was a bit hot, so I'm going to relocate it in a bit further and in behind the dash up here. So I drilled a hole here, hole there. That's for the bracket. So we'll just have, all you'll see is a bolt head here and here. It'll sit up there. That'll put it about nearly a foot away from where it was, and keep it cool. It's been there for years, hasn't had any problems, so that's the way I want it to stay. That's a little port there I connect in if I want to do a check, do a scan, check any codes. So I'll go and find a couple of bolts to go through here, tidy them up a bit. We'll get on. Going through my favourite little jar here, full of screws and bits and pieces. Always come in handy. And believe it or not, I'm trying to find two the same, which is a bit strange for me. Usually just anything will do, so I'm sure we'll find something. I always carry this with me when I'm on a trip. It's full of screws, nuts, bolts, all little stuff. Always comes in handy. Well, my little tin is delivered again. Got two identical ones, 2 flat washers, 2 spring washers, 2 nuts. I love this little tin. There's the bracket. That'll go in on the inside. Cut bolts through, bolt her up. She'll be out of the road. Get away from that heat. So I'll go and get a bit of foam just to put between the computer and the metal on the back of the dash, and I'll lie under the dash and put her in. Well, so far I haven't had to crawl underneath the dash to get to me 2 nuts and bolts to hold the computer in, so just got to tighten them up, and I think that's done. I've just got to zip tie these wires up a bit out of the road, and that'll be another job done. I'm on to my next project. You guys with old Jeeps, old vehicles know it never ends, does it? It's always something to do. So what I'm doing at the moment is I've had this little block sitting under my leaf spring packs, one on each side. So I wanted to remove them just to stop a bit of rocking, and also just to lower the back of the Jeep down a bit. I've lost a fair bit of weight over the last 12 months. I used to have a really big bar on the back carrying my spare tyre. Well, I've got rid of all that, carrying the spare up inside next to the headboard. Don't carry me drop down sides much anymore, so all this weight's come off and the back's just crept up a little bit. Try and flatten it off a bit. Thought I'd start with these. These full-size Cherokees are a spring over, so undone my U-bolts. I've got Dear John here to lift up the back and put this nice big frame under here for safety. So it's sitting on that. Tractor's just there as a secondary precaution, no weight on it. Remove the tail shaft, and then I could push the diff housing forward and undo my centre bolt. Out it came. And knock that out, centre bolt back in, done up the spring pack tight, and drop it back down. So pretty easy once you get it all up in the air. So I'll give you a quick look now on the other side, which has still got the block in it. So it's time to try out these repairs I've been up to, give the Jeep a bit of a workout. So we've done the temperature gauge. I need to make sure that's running right out here in the bush, and when I'm working it hard, I removed that computer for my throttle body injection. That was working okay before, so there shouldn't be any issues there. And the last thing I've done is play with those back springs that we were doing. So got a nice little hill here. I'll give it a go. We'll go down and come back up and just see how it's feeling and check that temperature gauge. So here goes. Well, that temperature gauge is reading good, back where it used to be, which is around 90, 95 Celsius, so that's really good. Happy with that. Jeep's running good, so no issues with the computer move. The back springs are feeling good. The Jeep's actually sitting a lot more level, which is what I wanted, so happy all round. So that's it for us today. So we'll get back home, have a cup of tea. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and throw us some comments. Tell us what you think about what we're up to. Catch you later.